Do you ever wonder if you've been marked? You survived the spectral sales event. You've seen the haunting results of life consumed by cheap thrills and impulse buys, courtesy of Wally Wimp and the Emporium. Now we move beyond the satire. Tonight we open the door to the true source of that mundane dread. This is the launchpad for a brand new series, Steel Shadows, Visions of Richard Matheson. Across 10 episodes, we will analyze how Matheson's iconic tales, from robot boxers and steel to the road rage paranoia of Duel, directly mirrored the shadows in his own life. We'll explore the real life trauma of a World War II veteran, the painful losses that informed his domestic horror, and the Hollywood frustrations that fueled his sharpest satire. The fear we confront tonight is more fundamental. It's the realization that you are merely expected to conform, expected to vanish into the relentless pattern of the ordinary. Prepare to venture into the mind of a master, prepare to see the world as Matheson did, where the uncanny twist is never far from the mundane truth. The curtain is up. The shadows are gathering. SL Tonight, Anthology, begins. Good evening, seekers of medical madness, and welcome to SL Tonight, where we dissect the surgical horrors of Richard Matheson, the pioneer who penned 14 novels and 16 Twilight Zone episodes. I'm Felix Lebeski, your host for Steel Shadows, Visions of Richard Matheson, a series celebrating a man whose stories lampoon his career, World War II wounds fueling body horror, pulp roots evolving into critiques of science gone wrong. In the 1950s, Matheson was in California writing for the magazine of fantasy and science fiction, inspired by his own health scares and medical journals that made him question science's hubris. Dr. Morton's Folly grew from that skepticism, a tale of a doctor's deadly experiment reflecting his aim to blend sci-fi with ethical warnings. Published in 1954 in F&SF, it captures his skill at turning innovation into catastrophe, drawn from post-war medical advances in his father's tales of survival. Behind the scenes, Matheson collaborated with Twilight Zone producers, but the story stayed in pulps, reflecting his frustration with Hollywood's limits on scientific themes. It's a window into what drew him to horror. The fear that doctors play God, a theme that deepened with his son's leukemia in 1969. Let's operate on this folly. He had just finished sterilizing his dental tools when there was a loud knocking on the front office door. What on earth? Dr. Morton frowned. Who in the name of Heaven would be showing up at this time of night? He stood motionless, assuming that whoever it was would leave when no one responded. Instead, the knocking persisted, getting louder. Dr. Morton sighed wearily. Can't they tell that the office is closed? He thought. The knocking continued, starting to become belligerent. Damn, did they know he was here because the room lights could be seen from the outside? He sighed again. He was tired and he wanted to go home. As the knocking went on, now with a kind of exaggerated righteous rhythm, Dr. Morton left the workroom and trudged slowly down the hall to the office door. He opened it and went inside. In a momentary silence between knocks, he said firmly, "The office is closed." The man replied, "I have to see you." Dr. Morton exhaled tiredly. "I'm sorry, but we're closed for the night. You should have... I know you're closed. This is an emergency. I'm in considerable pain." Oh, dear God, Dr. Morton thought. The word had always gotten through to him. Considerable pain, he sighed in surrender. One moment, he said. He unlocked the front door and opened it. The man was tall and lean, wearing a black suit, his shirt white, his collar open with a dark tie. Around his neck he wore a red silk scarf. His skin looked sallow. He smiled at Dr. Morton. "I appreciate this," he said. "I realize that it's late, but as I said, I'm in considerable pain." Dr. Morton withheld a fatigued sigh. "This way," he said, gesturing towards the office door. "Thank you, sir," the man said. His polite tone helped somewhat to ease Dr. Morton's aggravation. He followed the man into the hall and noticed how black the man's hair was. "What's your name, Mr. Black?" he thought sarcastically. "George Goodman," said the man. Dr. Morton repressed a smile. No sooner asked than answered, he thought. Mr. Goodman. Hardly inappropriate, but possibly true. In there, he told the man, pointing towards the first workman. Thank you, sir. So polite, thought Dr. Morton. Very nice, or affected. Please sit down, he said. Thank you, said the man. Laying his red scarf on the right counter, he sat on a chair and elevated his legs. His shoes were black as well, as were his socks. Goodman, thought Dr. Morton. Totally inappropriate. Well, let it go. I hope this won't take long, the man said. We'll see, Dr. Morton muttered. He fastened the cloth around the man's neck. So what's the problem? He asked. In answer, the man opened his mouth and pointed inside. Dr. Morton put on his face mask and leaned in to examine the interior. Good God, he could not control a gasp of startled revulsion. Something wrong? The man asked. Well, Dr. Morton hesitated. Do you brush your teeth very often? He asked. He wanted to speak more directly, but contained himself. The man's breath was shocking. As an ordinary patient, he would have demanded a cleaning before doing an examination. A pity Miss Jensen wasn't here, or he might have prescribed a cleaning before beginning. However, he certainly would not attempt a cleaning himself. Under the circumstances, absolutely not. I beg your pardon, he said, realizing that Mr. Goodman, Lord, what an inappropriate name, had answered his question. I said, the man said, occasionally. He sounded offended. I'm the one who should be offended, Dr. Morton thought. Your breath is revolting. The problem? The man reminded Dr. Morton. The problem is I'd like you to get out of my office and brush your damn teeth, Dr. Morton thought. But then, pain. He couldn't ignore that, no matter how atrocious the man's breath was. Dr. Morton adjusted the overhead light and looked inside the man's mouth, trying not to breathe. Immediately he saw the problem. You have a badly decayed cavity in your left canine tooth, he said. He wanted to add that the tooth seemed abnormally long, but he already offended the man regarding his breath and didn't care to add to that. Probably runs in the family, he thought. Peculiar family. So what can be done about it? The man inquired. I can't do anything, Dr. Morton said. I can only advise you to get the tooth extracted by... No, the man said loudly. It sounded close to a snarl. He gave Dr. Morton a start. I'm sorry, but I see no other course, he said. I believe the tooth should be extracted, and since I can't do it, I'd recommend Dr. Wellington, a most dependable oral surgeon. What can you do, sir? Now, here, the man broke in. Dr. Morton gazed at him intently. There was something menacing about Mr. Goodman, something pathetic as well. The thought was validated as the man said, Please, doctor, do whatever you can. I'm in dreadful pain. That word again. Dr. Morton was totally vulnerable in his presence. He had to offer something. Sir? The man said. Well, Dr. Morton started. Sir, the man demanded. Might try, Dr. Morton started again. Yes? Dr. Morton didn't attempt to muffle a heavy sigh. What time was it anyway? Would he ever get home? Blanche would probably be tired of waiting and already asleep in bed. Sir, the man demanded again, forcefully now. I could try to fill the... began Dr. Morton. Good, the man cut him off. Do it. I didn't finish, Dr. Morton said. I can't guarantee anything. The cavity appears to be below the gum line. If it is, please, the man cut him off again. It doesn't matter where it is. I need the tooth. Well, sir, Dr. Morton spoke cajolingly, the tooth is valuable, certainly. All teeth are. But under the circumstances, the condition of the tooth... I don't care what the condition of the tooth is, the man said loudly. I need it. Well, damn it, Dr. Morton thought. The man seemed animate. What to do? He couldn't throw the man out. Didn't think that was possible anyway. Mr. Goodman, if that was his name, could be muscular. Dr. Morton exhaled openly. The man watched him prepare an injection needle, filling it from the container of lidocaine. What are you doing? He asked. Preparing a pain injection. No injection, he scowled. Mr. Goodman, objected Dr. Morton, you cannot... No injection! The man's voice was almost threatening. Well, damn it, Dr. Morton thought. He just wouldn't do the filling then. Let the man endure the pain. He did not intend to drill that awful-looking cavity without the aid of lidocaine. Absolutely not. Please, sir, the man was starting to plead. The pain is terrible. No further sense of threat. There was even tears in his eyes. Dear God, Dr. Morton felt guilty. He had to try. Anyway, the poor man was in dreadful need. That was obvious. Oh, very well. Thank you, sir. The man sounded genuinely grateful. Just stop calling me sir, will you? Dr. Morton thought peevishly as he prepared the drill, thinking how more convenient it was for Miss Jensen to do all the preparatory work. He braced himself. I warn you, he told the man. This is going to hurt. If you still drill, the man interrupted. I'm ready. So be it, Dr. Morton thought. Suffer then. He felt a twinge of guilt at the unkind thought, then dropped it. He had offered lidocaine. If the man refused it, he had to be prepared for the worst. He'd likely strike the nerve. Heaven help the man then. He began to drill. At first, he'd assumed that, as a number of patients did, the man was resisting the commencement of pain. It wouldn't work without lidocaine. Mr. Goodman would soon be in agony. The anticipation was initially pleasing to Dr. Morton. The man had been very little but difficult to treat. Satisfaction soon wavered, then disappeared, however, as he waited, almost tensely for the first sign of pain from the man. The initial tightening of his cheeks, the involuntary clamping shut of his eyes, the uncontrollable hiss. To his amazement, none of the expected reactions took place. The man remained silent, gaze fixed on the ceiling. He never stirred, never shown a sign of distress. Dr. Morton couldn't understand it. He was drilling straight into the decay of the cavity. He had to be affecting the nerve. Was the man one of those rare people who never felt pain, who could lay a palm on an open flame and never notice? Curious. The man's mouth was beginning to fill with particles of blood. Dr. Morton straightened up. Rinse out, he said, gesturing towards the small round sink beside the chair. Lord, he thought. Already his back hurt. He'd been looking forward to going home, taking a hot shower, and getting into bed. No such luck. He watched as the man picked up the paper cup and put some water in his mouth. His cheeks puffed out as he washed the bloody water around his mouth. Patients didn't usually do that, Dr. Morton thought. They spit out what bloody cavity fragments and saliva were in their mouth and rinsed out. Not this gentleman, of course. The idea vaguely amused him. He started, eyes widening as the man swallowed again. Good God, thought Dr. Morton. I didn't mean for you to drink it, he said, his voice unimaginably revulsed. It's all right, the man said. Well, Dr. Morton mumbled. What more was there to say? The man was more than intractable. He was disgusting. Finish up, he told himself. Get this damn thing over with. He continued drilling, making no attempt to avoid inflicting pain. It didn't seem to matter. The man remained stoic. Dr. Morton was repeatedly struck by the fact that as the drill bit deep below the gum line, ordinarily even with the use of lidocaine, by now the average patient would be writhing in pain. Most of the time, he'd have to give them a second lidocaine shot and wait before continuing to drill. Not with this man. He remained motionless, staring intently at the ceiling. When the bloody detritus collected in his throat, he swallowed it. Oh, for Christ's sakes, Dr. Morton thought more than once. At last the drilling was concluded. As quickly as he could, Miss Jensen did it so much more efficiently. He mixed the filling and implanted it in the cavity with hard, abrupt movements. Don't chew on anything until this dries, he instructed. I won't, the man said. Dr. Morton drew a deep breath. He wouldn't bother drying the filling. Well, that's it then. It should hold, he said. I was about to add that he still believed the tooth should be extracted, but decided against it. He wanted the man out of here. He wanted to go home and relax. About the charge, the man said, rising from the chair. Call my secretary in the morning and give her your address, Dr. Morton said. I'll send you the money, the man replied. Fine. Dr. Morton's tone was impersonal. He walked the man to the waiting room. There, instead of opening the front door, the man turned to face Dr. Morton. It is very kind of you, he said. Think nothing of it, Dr. Morton felt inclined to say. I'm going to forget about it as soon as I can. Thank you, was what he said. The man smiled. He put a hand on each of Dr. Morton's shoulders. His grip was strong. It made Morton's shoulders hurt. Now, said the man. His lips drew back from his teeth. Yes, the tooth looked fine. The man blinked, moved his lips forward, and withdrew his hands. No, he said, I may need you again. Dr. Morton tightened. I'm usually available, he said stiffly. The nerve of the man. Good, said the man. He opened the door and moved into the corridor. Dr. Morton locked the door with a solid thrust. There, he thought. So much for you, Mr. Goodman. That was really your name. When he went back into the workroom to clean the drill, he saw the man's red scarf on the counter. Oh no, he thought. He wasn't going to allow the man back to claim it. Snatching it off the counter, he left the room and hurried to the front door. Unlocking it, he pulled it open and lunged into the corridor. Here's your damn scarf, he thought of raging. He wouldn't, of course, but at least he'd be rid of Mr. Goodman. Peculiar, no, weird Mr. Goodman. He opened the front door of the building and stepped outside. Here's your scarf, sir, he said in his mind. The parking lot was empty. Didn't the man drive here? Dr. Morton thought. Was he walking? At this time of night, surely there was bus service available. A taxicab might not be possible. He jerked back his head as a rushing sound moved overhead. Momentary shadows swept across him, making him start. Quickly, Dr. Morton moved back into the building and walked to his office with an unaccustomed speed. For some reason, he felt very cold. That was Dr. Morton's Folly, a story that cuts from Richard Matheson's distrust of science. At 28, Matheson was in Los Angeles, submitting to pulps like F and SF, inspired by medical breakthroughs that made him ponder ethics after World War II's experiments. They lampooned his career, war's human costs extended to labs, his pulp roots maturing into warnings of hubris. Writing this in 1954, he drew from Frankenstein's legends and his brother's childhood illness, aiming to show how innovation blinds us to consequences. Behind the scenes, Matheson submitted to magazines, reflecting his frustration with Hollywood's sanitized views of science in Twilight Zone scripts. It's a window into what drew him to horror. The fear that doctors' folly destroys souls, a theme that deepened with civil rights struggles in the 1960s. Richard Matheson, the visionary behind Dr. Morton's Folly, turned a cure into a curse of numbness. This story asks, what price do we pay for playing God? Join us next time for Still Shadows Visions of Richard Matheson on SL Tonight, as we keep unearthing his enigmas. Like and subscribe, and good night.